Hello and welcome to another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix of the Smoke Room. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get it free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that make this game and or get the newest version earlier, you can go to their Patreon, which is $3 a month. This game, and others. So, on the last Let's Play, we were attacked by some sort of monster, which seemed like a rat or a fox or something feral. At least from what our the other people say, it killed one of the donkeys and scared off the other one, and didn't seem to take any chunks out of them. At least that's what our companions say. And we had a nightmare of us being killed, and then also spooky voices. And yeah, unit cohesion is kind of low, and we're low on supplies as well. So, everything's going great on this expedition, apparently. Let's reset our face. And start. Oh yeah, and then we came across this camp. Next to it is a little group of 4 tents that I reckon could fit about 1 person each. One of them got patches soon all over. Somebody must have really wanted to keep it in one piece. Listen. Bags are haphazardly strewn across the clearing. Some have their contents spilling out on the forest floor. No doubt there's enough supplies here to feed a small group. No sign of any wagons, though. Do you see anyone? Not yet. Good. I have had it up to here with the wilderness. Keep your voice down, wait. And people being here would be wilderness? Claws still bared, just in case. I walk up to the camp. A tingle runs down my spine. A camp this deep in the woods can only mean trouble, right? I mean, it could be people doing the same thing we're doing, or doing hunting stuff. Hunting for, who knows, snakes, monsters, spoilers. The campfire is still smoking. Whoever this camp belonged to must have left in a hurry. Maybe we weren't the only people to fall victim to whatever the creature was. Jebediah comes up behind me. I recognize that tent. His voice sounds urgent, scared almost. He runs past us, to the patched up tent in the middle of it all. Without waiting for us, he opens the flaps. When he looks back at us, there are no words coming out of his muzzle at first. Only a pained grimace. Then, it's empty. He buries his face in his hands. We gotta look. He can't have gone far. What are you talking about? Avery, he's here. I have to find him. He paces between the tents, looking in each and every one of them. Avery? He says nothing, just nods. His breathing is irregular, frantic. The physician here? Why? Oh, so is that the guy that patched up the back of her head? The big stag? As I walk past the tents myself, I notice marks on the forest floor. They start at one side of the campfire and lead into the forest. What little plants there were in the way have been flattened and crushed beyond recognition. I kneel down next to them. I found something. The rest of the group joins me shortly. These marks. The drag marks. Someone must have gotten carried away. He runs his fingers over them. They ain't too wide, or deep for that matter. Fairly straight, too. Whoever got dragged was thin, light. He sighs. There wasn't much of a struggle. But let's not come to any hasty conclusions. Maybe they were carried to safety? Even if that were true, safety from what? We look off into the woods. Trees are so dense, we can't see too far out. I mean, I feel like these trees aren't that dense. They are quite thin. We need to move. There's a rustling noise off into the distance. I prick my ears up. More footsteps. Leaves and twigs crunching. Find a weapon. I scan the surrounding area for something, anything. Also, that's a good thing. We didn't bring any weapons? Not like a rifle or a pistol for errant wildlife, whatever that might be in this universe. I end up settling for one of the pieces of wood near the campfire. The footsteps sound louder, coming from the direction of the drag marks. They ain't as heavy as the ones I heard last night. And there's more of them. It's people. That's a good or a bad thing? Ain't sure yet. Stick close. Jebediah and I scramble back to our feet, getting in front of Murdoch and Cliff. I hear a man's voice coming from behind the trees. Is it safe out there? I see movement in the bushes. Another man, his voice much deeper, replies. Hold on, there's people. People? What do you mean, people? I said what I said. Quiet down. Something hits the floor next to me. Jebediah has dropped the branch he was holding. Avery? Is that you? A deeper voice answers. Jeb? 1 second. Goddamn branches are almost tearing my antlers off. The more I listen to it, the more I feel like I know that voice. I put my free paw on the back of my head. There are stitches where the stitches had been. Yep, there he is. A panting, heavy-set elk comes stumbling out of the woods. The last time I saw this man, he was poking around with a needle in the back of my head. He takes a moment to catch his breath, peering straight at me. Behind his glasses, his brown eyes go big. Sam? Doc Avery, or Doc Avery? I don't know if he's a licensed doctor or not, but that's what we call him, and he's done just good or better by Dora. He's done just good or better? She's always said that some things can't leave a paper trail. She always said that some things can't leave... I don't know. Hey, it's really you. Jebediah walks up to him. Without saying a word, he embraces the much larger elk. It's good to see you. Awful nice to see you too, Jeb. I wish it was under better circumstances. Avery stares on, rattled, but returns the hug nonetheless. We make eye contact once more. My cheeks feel red hot right now. I hope he doesn't mention the injury, but Jebediah's right. It's good to see... Also, this is interesting music. I need to put both headphones on, just in case. I was listening to something else, just, in case. It's good to see someone familiar in this godforsaken forest. And the Brian's boy, too? Howdy, Doc. Avery, let's go, Jebediah. The horse wipes his eyes in his sleeves. There's wet streaks on them when he lowers his arm again. Quite the odd posse you got here. Who's the short fella? Short? He's a customer I'm taking to the settlement. At least I was until he went south. Things went south. I wonder how that saying started anyways. Tried to go back the way we came, but I think somebody's messing with the landmarks. Oh, pardon, sir. Didn't mean to offend and all that. Rather on edge right now. Huh? Oh, the height. Cliff seemed offended all the same. The elk turns his head. It can come out. They're friendlies. A kit fox ducks out from behind a tree. Can't be older than 20, I'd reckon, though the bags under his eyes make him look 40. He's looking rather athletic, though I ain't sure whether the bulk under his shirt is fur or muscle. A large bear wearing a worried expression on his face, looks about the same age, follow suit. What happened here? I tell you, but you'd have to put me in the madhouse. Was it some sort of monster? How'd you know? Because the same thing got us. Jeb closes his eyes. It killed Doris, Ave. Avery goes quiet for a moment. Then he takes a step back. We're missing a man, too. He was tending the fire when... He looks at the drag marks. We were looking for him, but he's nowhere to be found. Whatever it was, didn't leave any tracks. No blood either. It's like he never existed at all. The bear talks to Avery in a language I don't understand. Avery responds effortlessly. I hear a small squeak behind me. You're with the Masetta? Ah, so that's what it was. Cynthia only ever taught me some dirty words. You know the language? Only a little. I'm researching the Masetta for my thesis. We were on an expedition, but our journey so far has been a complete and utter disaster. We only survived by the skin of our teeth last night. It explains why Sam looks more bloody and bruised than a miner after a tunnel collapse. You know him? Of course I do. He's a patient of mine. I grit my teeth, saliently praying he doesn't bring up the stitches. He's one of the few who can place me on the day that I killed Jack. Can he? All he knows is that the back of my head was busted open, right? He only placed me at the bar. Gotta change the subject. What are you doing out here in the woods, Doctor? He gestures to the bear and fox. These three. He clears his throat. These two are fishermen. Every 2 weeks or so, they come to Echo to sell their wares on the market. When they're out to fish, they head home. To where they fish, I have to suppose. Could be like Tesla, but it would be like Slia. And Avery, speak your language better than me. The bear speaks in a way that sounds similar to Cynthia when she slips into a rant, but much friendlier. Think it is good to see more people right now. The kid fox glowers at us and doesn't say a word. My folks live in these woods. Live in these here woods, so I tag along most of the way, every now and then. Never had much trouble until now. Forest usually peaceful. He shakes his head, sitting down next to the campfire, and reaching for nearby leather rucksack. We should take what we can carry and leave before whatever that was comes back. You saw what it did to Sheila Avery. I'm not dying because of some strangers. I say we stay here for now, at least until it's brighter out. Avery turns to us. You folks best it put too. But we have to get back. Our supplies. My notes. No notes are worth getting killed over. You don't understand. Without those notes, my life might as well be over. This expedition is the culmination of years of research into the Masetta culture. All three of the men exchange glances when they hear that. Cliff's on the verge of tears. If I lose that research, I cannot hope to finish my thesis, and... Quiet down and listen to me, fella. Save for a sniffle, Cliff goes dead silent. You ain't getting anywhere like this. You're hungry, tired. He looks at me, wounded. Your notes and your supplies ain't going to just up and walk away from you. I don't know a thing about that creature that attacked us, but going there, in your state? Now, that just make you easy pickings. Cliff seems like he's about to speak up about it, then relents. Very well. I suppose I'm rather peckish. Avery smiles, lowering the rucksack to the floor. I'd be happy to trade some fruits for your name, Mr. Tibbets. Clifford Tibbets. Most people around here have taken to call me Cliff, or less fortunate names. Cliff it is. My name's Avery. No last name? No last name. I already got one. I already got the one. You're a doctor, correct? Of sorts. Of sorts? This gonna sound really funny, you. Gonna print that too. But I'm not a doctor the way you'd expect me to be. Actually, let's just put that in paints before I forget. There we go. Don't exactly have a license or diploma. I'm just good at what I do. Ask your friends. He takes an apple from the rucksack and hands it to Cliff. My own stomach growls. Thank you, Mr. Avery. I've got enough of those to share. He offers Jebediah a shiny red one. Got your favorite too. Jebediah swats his hand away. I ain't hungry, Ave. A man's gotta eat, Jeb. He shakes his paw, holding the apple. Jebediah reluctantly reaches out and takes it. Fine. Murdoch and I get one soon after, followed by the fisherman. It's nothing fancy, but right now, hungry as I am, I take it. I bite into it. It's so juicy, I have to wipe my muzzle after I swallow. Ooh. I notice the smell of blood from earlier still clinging to my torn sleeve. These are great. Thanks, Doc. Don't mention it. Got more if you need any. It ain't much, but it'll help with the hunger pangs at least. Sam, mind join me in my tent once you're done? Cliff's eyes go wide once more. He nearly chokes on the apple in his mouth. Excuse me? It would be a good idea for me to check his wounds. I don't have supplies or equipment to deal with an infection here, or the stomach to deal with an amputation. After that, perhaps we can see if it's safe enough to go see my folks. Their Hugan, their place isn't far from here. Are you saying we're going to be visiting the authentic Meseta Hugan? He seems to have forgotten all about his notes. Authentic? Wonderful. Splendid. I don't think he heard Avery. The bear is looking at him from the corner of his eye, one brow raised. I have so many questions. Oh, if only I had a pen to jot them all down. He takes a big bite of his apple. We'd be most happy to join you. I didn't know his voice could go so high. Probably not a bad idea if that creature hunts at night, right, Jebediah? The horse grunts. He's getting back to his old self again. So long as we get somewhere safe before nightfall, his parents are nice folk. If you're looking for information on the Meseta, ain't no one in the region who knows as much as my ma. Don't tell my pa I said that. Avery's tent is just big enough for the two of us. Even then, his antlers aren't pressing against the roof, damn near tearing holes in the fabric. Oh, so that's why there's those things. But it's somewhere private, which is good because I'm not decent right now. Avery's been cleaning my wounds for the past 10 or so minutes, front to back. He's disinfected and applied bandages to my torso, and now most of his attention is focused on the wound on the back of my head. You have a knack for getting yourself into trouble, don't you, Sam? I'm a horror doctor. It's more like trouble has a knack for getting into me. Didn't hit your head too hard, if you're still cracking jokes. He hums a little ditty, wiping the back of my head and neck with a damp cloth. When he pulls it back, it's purple in hue, just like my shirt. It's a damn miracle you survived it all. Heard that one before? Didn't stop you from bumping your head again, now did it? He moves the cloth down between my shoulder blades over one of the spots that got scratched up the hardest. I hiss. Gotta keep you on your toes somehow. Believe me, boy, when you've worked in medicine for a while, nothing surprises you anymore. That's something our lines of work have in common, I reckon. Bet you got your fair share of stories. Lord knows I do. Why? Just asking Jebediah? Just ask Jebediah. How do you two know each other? Now, that's a story I can share. He wrings out the cloth in the bucket. His family owns a ranch not too far out of town. When I was younger, before I came to Echo, I used to spend summers working there as a farmhand. The pay wasn't that great, but back then, it was my first job, and it meant the sun and the stars to me. I never met a kid as curious as Jeb was, always asking me these questions. At first, it was, how are you that tall, and what are those things on your head, Dave? What are they for? As we got older, he started asking me about the meseta, and what it was like out there. Don't think the boy ever wanted to be a rancher. He was always off writing these little stories, entering his books. Anyway, time went on. You know how it is. I packed up and moved to Echo eventually, but we stayed in contact. Can't really picture him being all that talkative. He's quiet for a moment. He's not as happy as he used to be. Most of what troubles Jebediah happened after I left. Now, that ain't my story to tell. If you really want to know, ask him. He pats my shoulder. It still hurts. My turn. What got you following that weasel into the woods? He's a client. Must be some client if Dora is willing to let you out of her sight. He's a rich fellow from Bavaria. Came here to work on his, thesis? He mentioned a thesis. That's it? That's it. Either way, he's paying, so I'm not telling him my actual reason for coming along. Got my shirt and pants. You might want to throw those clothes away when we get to the Hugin, by the way. Also, you're not going to mention that he hired you as muscle, in a way? Not muscle, but there's muscle and then there's muscle. They got more holes in them than a Hendrix contract. Is that James Hendrix? Yeah, James Hendrix. That sounds like a name. Maybe not as much blood on them, but still plenty. Brought some more clothes with me, but they're with the supplies. We can probably squeeze you into some old clothes of mine. Might be a tight fit, though. I look over my shoulder, his belly, and raise a brow. He notices and laughs. It's a deep, rumbling one that makes the tent quiver. I'll head out and let you get dressed. Can't say it'll stop hurting right away, but at least you won't die. More than I can say for a lot of the other men who take a tumble in these woods. Thanks, Doctor. I owe you one. Do you now? His smile turns bashful. His glasses slide down his snout a little. I'll have to keep that in mind when we get back. He crosses his arms, as if deep in thought. Been a while since we last had an appointment, hasn't it? There has to be something in the water. Turn the frickin' deer gay. At least one that didn't involve me fixing you up. Right. It's been a while. I don't see him around much, though Dora always seems to know how to find him. But I do remember those appointments very well. He's good with his hands. Then I suppose I'll have to arrange something. Dora ought to be keeping you in tip-top shape for as hard as you work, and for how many hazards you experience. I say you're overdue for a physical, I'd like that, Doc. Though you better stop cracking your head open like an egg every time I see you. Sooner or later, it's going to turn out scrambled. With another pat on the back, he crawls backwards out of the tent. He leaves me alone with my dirty shirt and my thoughts. I think it might be a bit premature, but since we're moving and stuff, that's a good time to call it. Woo woo. Met new people and old people. And yeah. And this place. So please comment, cause I like comments, some you like, dislike, tips, as always. If you like me and would like to see it grow, then please like, subscribe, and check out the videos epic growing. Please remember to spend your animals to control the pet population. And if you want to play this game, it's on the channel. But if you want to support these people and or get the newest version early, I didn't see my mouse there, then go to their Patreon, where it's $3 a month for this game and others. And until next time, on another Let's Play, GamerWolfSix of... I don't. With the music right now, kind of reminds me of Until Dawn, in a way. Though hopefully with less deaths. Never played it, but watch people play it. So, thanks and see ya.